Have you ever gotten free from something and the first thing you wanted to do was run? Not towards anything specific, but just run away from the people who remember who you used to be. Well, that's exactly what happens in one of the strangest moments in the Gospels. It's not the miracle that's strange, it's what happens after it. So we know the story where Jesus meets a man living among the tombs. Everybody in the region knew about him. They knew the screaming at night. They knew the chains. They knew how he kept breaking them, the violence, the isolation, the fear he carried into every place that he wasn't welcome. He was the man nobody could control, and the whole town had built their lives around staying away from him. And Jesus shows up after a storm, and the man who'd been living like a dead man is suddenly sitting there, clothed, calm, and in his right mind. And that should have made the whole region and the town fall on their knees and worship. Instead, it made them so afraid that they were not ready for his healing. See, they'd built a system around his brokenness, and his freedom broke that system. And then the man begs Jesus to let him come along. And you'll understand it completely. Maybe he just didn't want to just follow Jesus. Maybe he wanted to escape the place where everybody remembered his worst time. The neighbors remembered, the families who probably locked their doors when he walked by, they remembered. The whole town remembered. And he was probably sick of being seen through the story of what used to hold him. And I think what astonishes me more was Jesus said no. Now, not to punish him or expose him again or for everyone to look and say, hey, look at that guy. But because the same place that watched him broken needed to see him made whole. The people who probably called him dangerous needed to see him free. That region would go on to reject Jesus, but they still had to live with the evidence of what Jesus had done in front of them. They could ask Jesus to leave all they wanted. They asked him to get out. But they could not ignore the same man there, sitting in his right mind every single day after that. So here's what I want you to take away from this. Sometimes healing can make you want to disappear. Freedom can make you want to disappear because you're tired of being known by your chains and your labels. And sometimes we want a fresh start where nobody remembers the worst version of ourselves. But maybe, just maybe, that's not how God restores us. Maybe he restores you so completely that the very place that remembers your brokenness now has to confront your freedom and deal with it. Not so you can prove anything to them, but the proof simply exists, whether they like it or not, whether they want to accept it or not. So sometimes just remember this. You're not being sent back because your past owns you or that God wants you to be ashamed. You sometimes get sent back as the evidence that your past doesn't own you. If you've been healed from something or set free from something and you're tempted to hide it, comment proof. Because let's remind each other that freedom isn't meant to stay hidden.